As the famous Tom Doyle once said, if at first you don't succeed, part two and we're back. It's the United view. Guys, I'm so sorry. Everything just went to absolute rubbish. Shaun, please accept my apology.
Always. We talked on for about 10 minutes before we realised you'd gone, so you know.
Yeah, well, Tom was telling me that we actually done everyone a favour. I don't know if that's true or not. Apparently, the stuff. But anyway, right, we won't believe that.
We've given people time to go to the toilet and have a cup of tea, and now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of Rooney.
It's like a commercial break without the adverts. Right.
Power surge at the power plant.
Yeah, there we go. Where were we? What were we talking about? Whereabouts were we at? Was we talking about the red card?
Yeah, we were talking about the red card. Yeah.
So, what did Shaun say, Tom, to start off with? I won't ask Shaun what Shaun said. I'll ask you what Shaun said. What was the overall view? Sum it up, Tom.
I think the overall view from everyone here was that it was ridiculous. I was, talking about it being, a professional foul, but a ridiculous one. And Shaun, pretty sure was saying that, it's not the type of thing expected of a captain. And I'll let maybe Mark sum up what he was saying. He was making a couple of really good points about Rooney.
Yeah, I think I was saying on the red card that it was, petulant, and I think we caught that, to be fair, on the video when I look back on it. But I think that if we want to move on to the bigger picture about Rooney, he's just not a captain for me. And I think that's the problem. I was discussing the fact that Moyes has got a lot to answer for, and I think that one of his biggest issues that he's left United with was the contract he gave Rooney back in February, where he basically offered him the captaincy. I firmly believe that was the case between Woodward and Moyes, and I think that's why Rooney's the captain now. I think Louis van Gaal took the job on knowing that, because there's absolutely no reason why he wouldn't have Robin van Persie as his captain. He was captain for Holland, so I think that for some reason Rooney's been offered this captaincy. He is the captain now, and he's not a captain. And yesterday shows that, I suppose. But for me, he's just not a captain anyway. Somebody needs to focus on his own game.
Okay.
Just on that point, hang on a minute, Ben. On that point, if that's the case, if Rooney was made captain because it was in his contract, and you're saying it should be Robin van Persie, why wasn't Robin van Persie given the vice captaincy? Why was it Darren Fletcher, a player that isn't going to play as much as vice captain should?
We've got to remember, though, we have got to remember, right, he's the club captain. Darren Fletcher's the vice club captain. I believe Mikel Arteta's been given the Arsenal club captaincy, hasn't he? And he isn't the number one starter for me in the Arsenal team. And he could be off next summer. So, these terms are thrown about everywhere. But Mark, in terms of that, he's not a leader. I mean, we'll talk about his decade in just a moment. He's probably the most experienced United player out there. Surely that makes him, that gives him that ticks boxes for him to be a captain. Does it not?
I think there aren't many other choices for a captain. For me, I think Robin van Persie should be captain, and I don't know whether we caught this on the last bit, probably not, but there's a lot of criticism that Robin van Persie's been getting over the last few weeks, which I found quite shocking, really. That's a player who 14 months ago single-handedly won United the league, something Rooney's never done, and people want him to be dropped. I just don't get it. And Rooney, we were saying this actually, Shaun was saying as well, that he divides opinion, and I wouldn't say even divides opinion at the moment. I think a lot of United fans are firmly in the Rooney camp, but I'd love to scratch the surface a bit about where this loyalty for Rooney comes from, because he hasn't shown that much loyalty to Man United in his past. But I don't want to go down I want Rooney out the club route. I certainly think he's got a lot to offer, but I do not believe he's a captain for England or Manchester United. And we were saying before, I don't think he's fulfilled his potential either. Which is strange for somebody who's going to break the Manchester United goal scoring record, the England goal scoring record, and cap record as well. But he's just not a captain for me. Who else is there? Well, I think that's a legacy of Sir Alex Ferguson again. I think we had the best captain probably in the Premier League area under Roy Keane. Roy Keane probably got a bit loud for his own boots, and Sir Alex Ferguson decided he wasn't going to have that sort of character in the club anymore. The problem is Sir Alex Ferguson leaves and there's no leaders left. So Rooney's probably a necessity, but personally for me, I'd have gone for Robin van Persie as captain. And then I think from yesterday, we've seen that there are a lot of players potentially who could be leaders of the future in Raphael, Blind, even Herrera. I think he's got the potential to do that, but they're all a bit young at the moment. So I understand why Rooney is captain, but he isn't a captain, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, again, valid points. For me, I don't think we could have overlooked Rooney as captain. And to be fair, part of me the other day was thinking, has Louis van Gaal given him the captaincy to prove a point? Because we are all seeing now, I'm not being funny, before the red card, I thought Rooney was absolutely brilliant. I thought he was playing brilliant. He's probably his best game this season so far against the Hammers, the way he's playing before that red card. But I was also thinking, has Louis van Gaal been waiting? Has he been waiting to see the real Wayne Rooney? The Wayne Rooney of old, which Sir Alex Ferguson had done everything to stamp out of him. And from his reaction in the interview, I think yes. Because surely, if it's your club captain who's been sent off for something like that, and even the questions which are asked in the press, you'd actually just stick up for him. Where Van Gaal was like, I'm not answering the questions. I mean, Shaun, if you was in Van Gaal's shoes, obviously you don't condone it, but surely you'd show a bit more fight for your captain if you're being asked all these questions, as he puts it, stupid questions, but I don't have a right, I have a right to not answer these. I mean, Fergie the day would have stood up for Keano, no doubt about it.
I quite like the fact that he hasn't.
Do you see where I'm coming from, though? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, obviously Van Gaal has to put confidence in Rooney to make him captain. He's put the confidence in him to give him that armband. He's put the confidence in him to pick his own role in the team as well as a number 10. Let's not forget, he's taking Mata's place at the moment. Yet he gets a red card, he does something stupid, and the man just come out and just gone, yeah, it was unfriendly. And that's it.
But let's go back to like the first part of the show when we were talking about De Gea. Everybody, I don't think there's many people that would disagree that that was a mistake, an error by De Gea that meant we conceded a goal. Yeah, after the game, Van Gaal came out and he said, but there was a foul on him. Now, I watched it back on Match of the Day last night. They showed it 2 or 3 times and they said there's no foul whatsoever. So was that Van Gaal putting confidence into De Gea saying, yeah, all right, you came out, you made an error, but you were fouled, to give sort of so his confidence wasn't dented. For him to come out now and say that I'm not going to answer these questions about Rooney's red card, is that because he knows damn well it was absolutely pathetic thing for him to have done, and he cannot defend him?
Yeah, I suppose so. He's straightforward, isn't he, Van Gaal? And there's sometimes when he does do after-match interviews where his English isn't great. It's not the best. Sometimes it's beyond comical. But anyway, let's move on from bad Rooney. Guys, should we talk about good Rooney? A decade at Manchester United. Tom, there's a smile on your face because when we all say good Rooney, we think overhead kick, we think hat-trick debut, we think superb performances. Will he go down as a Manchester United legend, though, Tom?
That's a tricky one you've left me with. I think, you can't, as we've said before, you can't really argue with his, goal record, the titles he's won. He's, season in, season out, he's not necessarily been the highest scorer, but he, notches, 15 to 25 goals a season. He normally gets 10 to 20 assists a season. In terms of talent, you can, rightly say he's, a United great. I wouldn't class him necessarily, with the legends that we've had. So I wouldn't, even necessarily class him in the same bracket as when Ronaldo was here. So, I think too much has gone on behind the scenes, with contract wranglings, with wanting to get away. I think too much has gone on for, the fans to truly, talk of him in the same, in the same breath as some of our legends. But, he's been a great player for us. He's been a great servant, when he's wanted to be. So in that respect, I'd say no. I don't think he's going to be a United legend. I think he'll be remembered fondly and not so fondly as well by some others. But, he's been a good player.
Mark, do you agree with that?
I do. I think we were having this chat in the break, actually. I think Rooney, who burst on the scene in 2004, could have been world class. And I think what happened is Ronaldo came to the club as well. I think Sir Alex Ferguson couldn't have two players like that, and he picked the better horse in Ronaldo and built the team around him and made Rooney more of a workman-like, hard-working player, which he is. I think he's got two assets. One, getting the ball on one side of the pitch and switching it out to the right-back position, and two, hard work. I don't think he'll go down as... He's top class for me. He's not world class. I think he could have been. Will he go down as a Manchester United legend? Not for me. I think that, as I was saying before, there's a lot of United fans who worship the ground he works on, and I'm sure we'll get some stick on Twitter later or tomorrow for daring to say that King Wayne isn't God. But for me, he won't go down as a legend. He won't go down like a Keane or a Schmeichel or a Ronaldo, even like Tom said. I think he's caused too many issues. And personally, I think it's a shame Sir Alex retired when he did, because I think it would have been better for him to leave United a couple of years ago. Sounds odd, I know, but I think he could have gone on at 26, 27 and maybe had 4 years at the top, a different club, redefining himself. I personally think the relationship between United and Rooney's run its course, and I think it's causing United more problems than it is Rooney, because obviously the money he's getting and the status he's getting. But he's a good player. He's still got a lot to offer. I'm not saying, like some people have said, it's death by lethal injection. Let's save that for Fellaini. But no, for me, not a legend, but a very good player. And I'm not saying I want him out of the club, but not a legend.
I've got to say, usually Shaun steals the quotes of his shows. We had one the other week when we were talking about Vincent Kompany and that Ed Woodward loves buying companies. But I think that quote we've just heard then, save the lethal injection for Fellaini, might have to be the quote of the show today. Not for good or for bad reasons, but just because you're saying it. A massive hello to Alexander for joining us and coming back with us for part 2. Sorry about the problems once again, guys. Thank you for joining us. He says, Robin Van Persie came to United to win, not because he's loyal to us. I don't believe he should be captain. Rooney had issues in the past, yes, but whenever he's on the pitch, he is always fighting for the shirt. Shaun, you've had these guys' opinions on him becoming a Man United legend, mainly disagreements, but did he fulfil that 18-year-old potential which we signed him? I mean, I can't say we haven't had our money's worth of him, but he came with big ideas, he came with big promise. Did he fulfill it?
He's not far off of equaling and surpassing our highest goal tally, so it's hard to say that he hasn't fulfilled his potential. Yet he was a much different player back 10 years ago. Obviously, we had that explosive pace, etc. But yeah, it's the word legend is thrown around far too easily nowadays.
Sure, it's interesting though. We're saying that it's not going to be a Manchester United legend. We're saying he maybe hasn't fulfilled that potential, yet he's going to become our highest ever goal scorer. I mean, apparently he's not our best player, yet he's got the most goals, nearly, for Manchester United. He could even equal the all-time Premier League goal scoring record. That maybe, possibly, but it's so interesting, this debate, isn't it? It really is.
It's one hell of a debate. Is he a legend or not? Bobby Charlton for me is a legend of the club. If he surpasses his goal scoring record, then that automatically means he's a legend, surely. But then we've got all this ugly stuff with contract negotiations and transfer requests. More than one, maybe. None of us really know the truth. I don't know. I mean, there was something that Roy Keane was back in 1999-2000. He was arguing over a new contract and was trying to hold the club to ransom. Well, as you just said, that he fell out with Fergie and Fergie got rid. Now, as we were saying earlier on, or maybe during the break, I can't remember, had Fergie not have left when he did, Rooney would have gone because of his contract demands. Because and especially to me, but obviously to Fergie as well, no one is bigger than the club. Yet Mr. Rooney seems to think that he is, and everybody is bowed down to him, especially Mr. Moyes. I mean, I don't know what anybody else thinks. This is just my opinion, obviously, and everybody is entitled to their own.
Yeah, Shaun, I think it's an interesting point you made about Charlton being a legend of the club, and I think, we never like to mention Liverpool on here, but when, say, you see players going to United or Liverpool, and they say they want to go and play for the clubs, regardless of where they are in the table, they want to play for them because of the reputation and the fans and the prestige. And I think it's being a United player isn't necessarily just about getting the records. It's not being a United legend isn't necessarily just scoring the most goals or making the most appearances. It's making the club your own. Taking the fans taking you to their heart and repaying the club and sort of reveling in the tradition of it all. And I don't think Rooney has ever really seen playing for Manchester United as more than a step up from Everton. Everton was a neighbourhood club, and I think it may be doing him a disservice. You can argue with me, but I don't think he's ever really seen United as anything more than that was the biggest club. They came in for him, so he went.
I've actually just had a great point made to me. Quickly, just each one of you, I'll go down the line. Do you see Cristiano Ronaldo as a Manchester United legend? Shaun?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
Mark?
Sorry, I thought you were going to Tom there. Yes, I do. I think he defined his career at Manchester United, and Ferguson made him the player he is. I think he's done better things and become a better player at Real Madrid, but I think his formative years were at United. He won the European Cup with Man United, and he's a legend for me.
Tom?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with Mark's point that he made himself into the best player in the world at United. All the extra conditioning training. He wanted to be the best player, and Ferguson helped him do that. That was, where he built himself. He's still got a deep affinity for the club. So for me, he's a United legend.
This is what I absolutely love about doing this show. At the United View, we've had an incredible tweet in. Now, you guys were saying about Rooney's contract and how that will define his Man United's career. Well, let's take time back. Hello to Jimmy Dan33 on Twitter, who says, you're talking about Rooney's contracts, but hailing Ronaldo. Do you remember the Ronaldo interview where he said, I'm a slave at United? He's being treated like a modern-day slave, and he agreed with Sepp Blatter's comments, back at Tom's nodding his head, back in the day. This was about 2 months before he left, and it was before that interview with Sir Alex and Ronaldo for the Champions League match where Sir Alex was asked, is Ronaldo going to leave? And he said to Ronaldo, you answer this question. And Ronaldo went, I feel like I'm at home here. And he went in the summer. So, it's Mark, let's come to you after that. I mean, it's a never-ending debate, isn't it? Contracts, players players coming and going, but Ronaldo lit up a stadium every time he played.
Yeah,
Rooney, not so much.
And I think, there's no comparison between Ronaldo and Rooney when it comes to class. One's top class, like I say, and one's world class. But I think when it comes, there's lots of examples. Shaun just said there about Roy Keane. He did hold the club at grandson, and God knows what Ronaldo was doing behind the scenes as well. The trouble with Rooney is, whether it's his own lack of intelligence or that of his agent, the way he's conducted himself has been in the public eye, and a lot of Manchester United fans haven't enjoyed that. The one a couple of years ago, I think Sir Alex Ferguson, when he came out on the press, and you could see he was crestfallen, and a lot of United fans took that to heart because, Sir Alex Ferguson is obviously the legend and will go down as the greatest man the club's ever had, up there with Busby, really. And to see him so forlorn because of Rooney, he was a broken man. And I think he said something along the lines of, and I was just thinking it then, whatever happens, you respect the club. Whether you're going or not, you respect the club. And, that resonated with a lot of fans. And a lot of fans don't like Rooney because of the way he's treated the club in the past. I'm sure there's other people who've treated the club like that who are Man United legends. The problem is it never came out in the public. So I think Rooney is a victim of his own. Is it his ego? I don't particularly think he's the brightest tool in the box, and I know that sounds harsh, but not many footballers are. But I think he's just a victim of the fact that a lot of the detail around him has come into the press. And the one when Robin van Persie won us the league and Rooney was sat on the bench sulking, I think when Danny Welbeck played well against Real Madrid and he benched Rooney, that season Rooney didn't really contribute much that season, and that's why Sir Alex was going to get him out of the club. So those with short memories, I think, are holding Rooney up as some sort of Mr. Man United. I still think he's got a lot to offer, but he's not a legend for me. And I think the reason for that is because too much has gone on in the past that the public have been aware of, especially the Man United fans.
Fair enough. Hello to Feet Geek, who says Rooney is a United legend for me. Going back to the red cards and his petulance sometimes, Keane, Cantona, Vidic got sent off for outrageous conduct and tackles all the time. These United legends, their aggression was their key. Which is true. Right, it is, of course, Rooney has been at the club for a decade. He's always going to define opinions, but whatever we want to say, he is one of the best Englishmen we have had in our team, without a shadow of a doubt. He is the United captain. He is the club captain. So, he's given us a lot of memorable moments. We can't deny that. Guys, think of yours. We've asked Twitter, of course, at the United View, their Rooney moments, their Rooney memories. Hello to Mark Kelly, who says that Derby overhead kick was immense. The same with at World United, said it was stunning. Hello to Mr. Corker, who also agrees with that one. Ori says the hat-trick against Fenerbahce in his debut, it's something he'll never forget in the Champions League. Alex One Pakien says his hat-trick against Arsenal in 2011 in that game. That is the only game I've seen at Old Trafford, and he was absolutely fantastic for 90 minutes. W agrees, the overhead kick. Andy sends me a message saying, you know, that goal against City. And let's have a look at one more. Hello to Marshall Francis, who says he's screamer against Newcastle United. You know, the one where he's having a chat with the ref and the next minute he's hitting the ball in the top corner. Let's come to you first, Shaun. Your Rooney moment.
There's so many to choose from. The overhead kick against City in the derby, that was a fantastic goal. I'd take a lot to get that one out of the memory.
Yeah, and it was a nanny cross, eh? How about that?
Yeah.
A nanny cross.
Wonders will never cease.
A legend in the mist. Mark, your Rooney memory, please.
I'm tempted to go with the West Ham goal from last season, but being as David Moyes was the manager at the time and we were under the cosh at West Ham, I'm not convinced that wasn't just a clearance. So I'm just going to go with the Newcastle one. Newcastle one for me.
Tom, your Rooney memory for me, please.
Yeah, I'd agree with Mark there. The Newcastle one. I mean, the City one was amazing, but I think the Newcastle goal, you know, it was an example of everything that Rooney was and could be at that time. Just, you know, a ball of rage and then striking the ball with such perfect technique. You know, I think that was the player that United fans thought they'd signed.
It was incredible. Mine's got to be the moment that he went into David Gill's office or Ed Woodward's office and managed to get a £300,000 contract. That was just genius. Let's talk about his records, his appearances: 285, 28 from the bench, 161 goals in the league. FA Cup appearances: 23, 6 as substitute, 17 goals. He's got a good record in the FA Cup, really. And the League Cup, he hasn't featured as much. If you think 10 years, 9 appearances in the League Cup.
Yeah,
He's got 4 goals in that.
He's got a good scoring record in the FA Cup. We haven't won it for 10 years.
Yeah, true. That's the one trophy Rio Ferdinand didn't win, wasn't it? The FA Cup. Is that right? I think that was right. Yeah, I think that was right. Either way, he's going to break the Man United goal scoring record, that's for sure, unless he suddenly just doesn't score any more goals. And he is close to that Premier League target as well, if we can get a good few years out of him as well. But who knows where he'll end up. He might end up in central midfield for another 5-6 years. He might end up out of the squad. Who knows? By the end of next season, we'll wait and find out. It's going to be an interesting season, to say the least. Right, let's move on, shall we? Right, Wayne Rooney done. It's been a great decade nonetheless. Let's move on to our next game. Mark, are you getting that excitement back? The game's finished for this weekend.
Yeah.
Uh,
Another one coming up next weekend. You getting that excitement back?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm very positive about the result from yesterday. I think this. I'm not tempted to say it's a turning point because I think they've got some difficult games coming up. Everton's cup final is coming up on Saturday at Old Trafford. I know they tend to say that the Merseyside derby is their big game, but the last few years haven't shown that. I think they tend to turn up at Old Trafford more than they do at Anfield. I think that'll be a difficult game. and then Chelsea in a couple of games, and it's how they cope without Rooney as well. But I think that defensive display at the weekend was really a strong point, and I think attacking wise they're just going to get better and better. We haven't spoken about Falcao much, but he's a world class finisher. He's set 2 goals up for Van Persie already, and he's not even fit. He just doesn't look fit to me. So I think he's getting accustomed to the Premier League a bit like Di Maria did. It was good that Di Maria got his first 90 minutes in yesterday. Yesterday. And
yeah, we got taken off.
Right, yeah, but he got taken off over the last 2 minutes, didn't he? So
he's getting there then.
Yeah, he's getting there. He might end the game soon. No, I've got to say I do completely agree, Mark, and I've got to say, talking about Falcao, he also looked very disappointed to be taken off. With if he takes that anger and that negativity which he felt being substituted in the next game into the weeks of training as well, Shaun, surely we'll see a guy well up for scoring at Old Trafford on Sunday.
It'll come. If it sort of gets to 10 games, then I think he'll start feeling pressure. But like Mark just said, he's not fully fit yet. He's not used to the pace, the strength, and everything of the Premier League. You're saying about Di Maria. Yesterday, I thought, especially the second half, Di Maria was very quiet. They did their job on him and kept him quiet. I think we said last week the 2 leagues, the Premier League and the Liga, are 2 completely different leagues, and Di Maria probably wondered what the hell was happening to him last week when he was being clattered into all the time. Song did a really good job on him yesterday, kept him out of the game, especially in the second half. But yeah, Falcao, that link up with Van Persie, the 2 assists already for him. His goal will come, whether it's against Everton, whether it's in Chelsea a few weeks' time. We just need to make sure that we keep him fit, don't overplay him. I like the frustrated look on his face yesterday. He was hungry to keep playing. If Rooney was still on the pitch, would he have been taken off? Or would he have played on for an extra 10 minutes or so? We'll never know. But I don't think it was a substitution that would necessarily have been made that early in the game.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. So with Falcao positivity, with Van Persie positivity, I don't think anyone will be asking for him to be dropped this Sunday. And Juan Mata, surely Tom being drafted in for the Everton game. We're looking at, hopefully, if Herrera's fit, Herrera, Blind, Di Maria again, Mata, Falcao, Van Persie, surely as our 6 there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. If they're all fit, and that's a big if with this United squad at the moment, but that front 6 picks itself, and there's been a fair few calls, the last few weeks as to where Rooney actually fits into this team. So I think, while missing, Rooney's creativity, you couldn't call it a blessing in disguise because, we're missing a top player for some difficult games. But I think it will be interesting to see how the front 3, especially of Mata, Falcao, and Van Persie, work together. Against some good defences.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. But obviously, the big problem is we're going to be playing up against Lukaku. Possibly, I don't know if Morales is back, probably. Leon Osman, who always, for some reason, seems to have a game at Old Trafford. How that happens, I do not know. But Lukaku is going to be a massive handful. So, defensively, we've got to be up for it. Who says that McNair couldn't do a job? Who says that Rojo couldn't do a job there? But if you had to pick a back 4 now, this is where you need to get your quick thinking caps on because I'm going to come straight to you. Who would you pick, Shaun?
I'd be tempted to go with the same as yesterday, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, for the game against Everton?
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Mark?
I'd like to think Shaun's right, but just touching briefly on Mata there, I thought Mata being dropped for the Leicester game was disappointing. I understood it because of the physicality, but I thought Mata would come back into the team yesterday at home, and he was dropped again. I don't think he did anything to deserve being dropped, so I don't think he will go with the same centre-backs. I think Blackett will come in, and which is a good move because he's physically strong and big.
Isn't that a 2-match ban? Sorry, Mark. Oh. Isn't the Blackett a 2-match ban and not a 1? I'm sure it's a 2.
I thought it was a 1, but maybe he won't come back in then. Yeah, on my feet then, I wouldn't bring Smalling back in and I wouldn't bring Evans in. But it sounds funny that we're dealing with 19-year-olds, but I'd bring Blackett in if he's able to play. Otherwise, I'd keep it the same.
For who? For McNair or Rojo?
McNair, I think I was impressed with Rojo as we were talking out in the first half. I was very impressed with him, and he wins that first ball, which is massive when you're playing against teams who play long ball, which Everton don't really. So I don't think they'll have as hard a game as they did against West Ham, which was just constant Big Sam long ball, and they came up against that really well. So I don't think Lukaku's anything to fear, but it'd be interesting to see who he does play at centre back.
Yeah, spot on. Can't disagree with that. Tom, you in the same?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, it's with the options we've got at the moment, it's tough to look beyond what Hull put out yesterday. So depending on injuries, I'd be tempted to go with the same sort of thing again.
Okay, fair enough. And finally, let's quickly have a chat about the Everton threats. Shaun, is Lukaku the man we should be watching out for? Because surely with our attack, we shouldn't have a problem getting past their defence. Or is it Jagielka we should be watching out for?
What would Jagielka do, eh?
Oh God, I tell you what, that fair enough. Di Maria's chip was world class, but that strike was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it really was.
It was. Did he mean it? Yes, I think
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, though, does it?
To go in, that's the thing.
See a strike being hit like that, I don't care if it's mental. I can put my hands up and say, even if that was Steven Gerrard, that is an absolute beauty. You're not going to see a better goal this season. It was just. I was saying that though, Pele's goal was nice, but just the way that ball moves, you just got. It literally went. It just went. I mean, it was incredible. But anyway, apart from Jagielka, they're the Lionel Messi. Who should we be looking out for in Everton's team?
Fellaini. Oh no, we don't play for them anymore.
Fellaini
always had a good game for Everton when playing against us. I don't understand it. Perhaps we should let him get that in a blue shirt when he plays for us or something. I don't know.
That's why we signed him, Shaun.
Pardon?
That's why we signed him.
Well, yeah.
It'd be Osman at the end of next season if we can't get Ronaldo back.
No, we signed him because no one else wanted to play for bloody Moyes. I don't care what he says he has all these transfers lined up. I don't believe any of it. Anyway, yeah, Lukaku. What I find interesting is that Everton are away in the Europa League to some other team on a different universe somewhere Thursday night. So. When they played in the Europa League last fortnight ago, their following result against Swansea, maybe they lost quite heavily. Was it? I don't know. I can't remember. I've told you before. I don't care about other teams. I don't watch them. I just worry about us. I'm more worried about our defence than their attack.
I know another guy who does watch other teams. Tom.
Yep. I'd be like Shaun said. I'd be obviously inclined to say Lukaku. I mean, everyone knows he's going to be the threat, especially with our centre-backs. He's going to be the one to watch out for. I mean, McCarthy has a great engine in the middle, and Gareth Barry's looking, worryingly good at the moment. He's, he was battling at Anfield. He could have got sent off a fair few times, but it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see Herrera versus Barry in the middle. I think that'll be a big battle.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Mark, what do you reckon? How are we going to do? How's it going to fare? To be honest, it's weird because I know that we can score goals. Strangely enough, even though it's only happened in one game, I now feel like we can defend as well.
I think Everton and Liverpool was quite an interesting game on Saturday because I think they're both really performing quite badly compared to last season. And I was thinking about it yesterday, trying to put my finger on it, and I think it's a mixture of a few things. I think they've lost key players. For Everton, though, I was thinking, well, who have they lost? But Barkley seems to be quite a miss, and I think they've been found out a bit as well. I think they both had good seasons last year, and this style of play has sort of been nullified. So threat-wise, I don't know. I think they're there for the taking. I think the threat is, and although I was joking about it a bit before, I think they tend to turn up at Old Trafford as if it is their cup final and they're up for it. So that will be a threat. But yeah, Lukaku is a handful, but I can't see them. I can't see them coming and scoring more than 1 or 2 goals. So if United can just keep 10 men on the pitch, I think United at the moment are capable of scoring 3 or 4. So that's the positive. Is that United are entertaining and have got so many goals in them, which for the last 18 months and even Ferguson's last season, we didn't really have that. So I think United have got enough to do them on Saturday. And just quickly on the Jagielka goal, having watched Steven Gerrard's free kick, I didn't want to watch anymore, and I turned it on. I walked back in the room with literally 30 seconds on the clock, and there's nothing more satisfying than seeing a last few seconds goal for Everton against Liverpool to silence all the Scousers.
And it nearly got worse for them with that Gareth Barry flick as well. I thought that was in for a second. Anyway, I have got to kind of agree. They didn't have any threat against Liverpool, did they really? Obviously, you don't want to let Lukaku run at you. You don't want him to be up against you going for an aerial duel. You don't want the balls to be put in the box. But that's just standard defending at the end of the day, and it should be. So, honestly, I think we could surprise a few against Everton. And I also think that to all the Scousers out there, and I've said this all along this season, we're only a few games in. The results and table doesn't matter, but if I had an iPhone 6 right now, I couldn't see you in the league. So stop worrying about us and focus on yourselves. I know our start to the season is really bad, but at the end of the day, the table says yours is worse. That's all I've got to say on that. Finally, we're going to end with my favourite part of the week, and we try on our last section to have a bit of fun, a bit of comedy, Mark. Now, I know, obviously, there's been a few problems. I can only apologise. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being our guest today. Usually, I don't get problems. Something was really raining on me today. But we like to talk about something a bit outrageous. We've spoken about Balotelli before. Today, we're going to talk about aeroplanes. We all love an aeroplane, don't we, guys? Love an aeroplane. We love a banner as well. Although when they come together, it's usually quite stupid. Moyes out signs. And the latest one is the Ronaldo banner. Have we all seen this?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a come home Ronaldo banner done by a United trust who have been taking pocket money off of kids to do these little campaigns. It flew over the Villarreal stadium for the Madrid-Villarreal game. I don't know if you guys have seen the ending to this. Basically, the Spanish federal government are investigating it because they don't think the jet had all the licensing it should have had.
I seen a picture earlier, and it had Fergie as the bloody pilot. Someone
We need to get
Fergie as the pilot. Yeah, right. Okay then.
We need to get that online. But oh God, where do we Mark? Bring Ronaldo back banner. Are you in support of stunts like this? I mean, it's humorous, yeah, but it's pointless, isn't it?
I supported the Moyes one. I never wanted Moyes as manager in the first place, and last season is probably the worst season I've ever had as a United fan. It was just horrible, and I would have supported anything, whether it was planes, trains, or kidnap. But I think this one with Ronaldo is. I didn't believe it at first when I saw it. I think it was mentioned on Thursday or Friday last week, and I just a lot of people have made comments, and I'd have to agree. It's just embarrassing. I don't think it does any good in changing Ronaldo's mind whether he wants to come back or not, which I'm dubious about anyway. I suspect he'll be signing a new contract very soon. I don't know how old Ronaldo is now, but I think it's next summer or never for me, because he's going to start on the decline, isn't he? He must be touching 30. Although, as Tom was saying, he's a physical specimen up there with the best. So, but no, the aeroplane thing is just embarrassing, and it brings embarrassing media to all those people who like to have a pop at United anyway.
Sorry, Shaun, did you donate some of your pennies to it?
I haven't got none to donate to it.
Okay, fair enough. Tom, you definitely did with that smile on your face.
Yeah, definitely not. No, it wasn't for me.
I loved the vines afterwards. They were quite good as well. But no, we're not in favour of aeroplane banners. And there was also one which went over the Etihad, I believe, as well, which was mocking United fans after the Leicester game when City were playing Chelsea. I saw that one too. Anyway, spend your money on something better, ladies and gentlemen, than a flying banner. That's all from us today. Then we're looking forward to the Everton game. We'll be back Sunday, 10 o'clock again. We're going to be doing it every Sunday at 10 now. We're putting it in the diary. Shaun, Tom, I'm so sorry about the problems. Thank you for coming back. You've been brilliant once again. Tom as well, thank you for taking over at one point.
Tried to steady the ship.
Yeah, well, I'll try to. Shaun, thank you, mate.
No problem. Enjoyed it again.
Despite the problems. Mark, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find more of your blogs and stuff?
Yeah, no problem. You can find it under me on YouTube, Mark Goldbridge. It's called Soccerbox. Also on Twitter at Mark Goldbridge. And I'd just like to do a shout out for the UnitedForum.com, who I was chatting to for about an hour before coming on here. Interesting set of lads. I don't know what they'll think of this, but I'm sure they're all watching anyway. Cheers.
Brilliant, thank you, mate. And again, I'm sorry about the problems. I don't usually get problems, which is really annoying for me. But there we go. You've got to have the problems to defeat them first, like the United defence, and the aeroplanes. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching at the United View. Make sure you subscribe as well. We did reach over 4,000 followers during the week, so thank you for following. We'll keep on following back. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming back as well. We've got most of our viewers back from what we had before, which is brilliant. Sorry once again, I feel like such a muppet, everything rained on me, but here we go. Thank you. We'll be back next week. Everton United kicks off at Old Trafford at midday on Sunday. Hopefully we can get another win in the bag. Come on, United!